Namaste. You are listening to The Attitude of Destiny, written by Bond and narrated by Mitali Pirangute. Chapter 2, 1970 to 1980. School to College. This decade had some remarkable inventions which has enhanced our communication and convenience. The invention of mobile phones, pocket calculators, and digital cameras. The first mobile phone was demonstrated by Martin Cooper of Motorola Co. in New York City on 3rd April 1973. Deepu's next phase of life started at Cochin, in God's own country. Here again, nature showered its vibrance in welcoming Deepu back home. It reminds me of the famous song in O.C. Visa of the late 60s. You have been gone. It's an empty home. Come on back. When you're ready to know, you're always welcome home. You're always welcome home. Come with me on this happy trip. All will be happy again. Welcome home. Welcome home. It was a full moon night, and all the stars were shining like never before. Absolutely an incandescent beauty, and the mild sea breeze was really enchanting. Cochin is a beautiful island, known as the Queen of Arabian Sea. In the 15th century, Cochin was occupied by the Portuguese. Later on, it was occupied by the Dutch, and subsequently the British took over. Cochin's history dates back to many centuries. As it was a trade center for spices, traders from Egypt, Rome, and China visited Cochin quite often. Now coming back to Deepu, his dad had got a transfer to Cochin. In fact, it was a promotional transfer. He was heading the sales and marketing in Voltas Limited in their pharmaceutical and consumer division. That was the prime reason to pull out Deepu from the boarding school. But it was absolutely a wrong decision to shift a school in grade 9th, and that too from a good school to a below grade school. Here again, destiny has shown its negative attitude. In the outset, it looked like Deepu was emancipated from the clutches of the boarding school and brought back to his loving family. Of course, everyone at home was ecstatic to see him back. But Deepu's studies had taken a descending order, from a bright student to an average level. Several factors had contributed to this downfall, mainly the school grade, teachers, students, and the core factor was indiscipline, which was beyond one's imagination. Unlike his boarding school, there was no discipline, no punishments, and any time the students go on strike for any reasons, which was politically motivated. Deepu's brother Dilip was also put in this same school in Cochin. His level of studies and discipline was also deteriorating. It was from bad to worst. The situation at home was also not conducive to progress. His dad hardly had time to spend with his family because he, being an marketing head in a private firm, had to travel extensively. Therefore, hardly he knew about the progress of his children. His mother, who was just an ordinary housewife, was incapable of handling these teens. These boys easily took her for a ride at times. Fortunately, his sister Geeta was in St. Theresa's convent school, which was quite famous for its discipline and studies. 1971, December 3rd. India declares war against Pakistan. It was basically to free Bangladesh from East Pakistan. It was just a war of 13 days, and India showed its might and its military supremacy by encircling Dhaka, the capital city of East Pakistan. It seems our army commanders had given the Pakistani army just 30 minutes to surrender, and almost 90,000 soldiers were taken as POW. 1972, September 5th. The world wakes up with the shocking news of the Munich massacre, the worst tragedy in Olympics history. A terrorist attack was being carried out during the Summer Olympics by 8 members belonging to the Palestinian militant organization known as the Black September. They infiltrated the Olympic Village, killed 2 of the Israeli Olympic Committee members, and took 9 of the Israeli athletes as hostage. Subsequently, the German police tried to ambush them but failed to rescue the hostages. For no fault of theirs, all the innocent Israeli athletes had to surrender to destiny. Deepu and his brother had tested freedom in the wrong way, so it was exploited to the maximum. Almost no studies, no one to control, so the end result was as expected. Both the boys failed. But Dileep's case was still worse because he had even got into bad company. So not only his studies, but also his habits were bad. Disobedience, bunking classes, smoking, etc. Finally, he was expelled from school, and consequently he had to face the wrath of his father, followed by his smacking and humiliation from his relatives, neighbors, which ultimately forced him to elope to an unknown destination. The family had a harrowing time, especially his mother was totally devastated. The entire family was in despair and agony. Like his mother, his sister Geeta was in deep grief because she was more attached to him than to Deepu. After waiting for 2 days, his father lodged a police complaint and a massive manhunt was being done across the country. Days became weeks and weeks turned to months, and everyone started losing hope and even started imagining the worst. At last, by God's grace, one fine day they got to know that he is staying in Goa. Since everything was in mystery, his Periappa, an affluent person, along with a crime branch officer, met the Goa police, and he was taken by surprise and subsequently brought him back home. His dad and his mom excused all his mistakes, and after a long time they experienced peace and harmony at home. Dileep couldn't believe his family's reaction, who has never seen his dad expressing his love and affection. The following day was again a day of sunshine, and the night too was moonlit to its full, and the mild sea breeze carried the fragrance of the lilies blossomed, made the atmosphere really intoxicating. It was very similar to the night narrated in the famous Malayalam novel Yakshi, written by Malayathur Ramakrishnan. In the novel, the author describes the night where the beautiful ghost roams around in search of her lover. In 1975, the month of August saw the world's worst tragedy. Banshiano Dam collapsed due to severe floods at Henan in China caused by a typhoon. It affected almost 3 million acres of land and a population of 10 million people. The estimated death toll is more than 2 lakhs. Later on, it's understood that various reasons have contributed to the collapse of the dam, like poor construction and nature's abuse in the name of development. Anyways, innocent people were washed out overnight in the floods, and millions left homeless because of him. I mean, destiny. Deepu's failure in the exams was very disgraceful because, in spite of being a brilliant student, he couldn't get through his 10th grade. He was absolutely dejected, and same was the case of his dad, who was totally shattered and lost all hopes on him. Those days, for anyone, 10th grade exams was the first stepping stone to higher studies, and which ultimately decides one's future. The following days were so disgraceful because his dad didn't spare a chance to humiliate him. Deepu's school life academically had a tragic end. It took months to recover from the setback. Finally, he got through the exams in the second attempt, but the failure and the consequent humiliation haunted him for long. As expected, based on his 10th grade marks, he couldn't get admission to a college of his choice, or rather his dad's. He had to settle down in a private college for pre-degree course and opted for commerce, accountancy, and economics. 1975 was an year which can't be erased from the annals of India political history. Prime Minister Mrs. Indira Gandhi declares an emergency on June 25, 1975. Further, the civil liberties were suspended and the press news censored, and even many opposition leaders were imprisoned. It was a long period of darkness which ultimately saw light by 21st March 1977. Deepu's college life was almost an extension to his high school. The main difference was that he got more freedom and very less control. Since he had just come out from the 10th grade debacle, he had his grip on his studies. Besides, the subject economics was quite interesting, like the theories of Adam Smith, Alfred Marshall, Abraham Maslow, etc. Those were the days. Like many of his friends, Deepu too had developed a new hobby, going to theatres and watching movies with his friends, and that too without his parents' consent. It was almost like an adventure. Initially it was with the permission of his parents, but in due course it was without anyone's knowledge. Unlike his friends, he had more scope to watch more movies, since he used to watch in English, Malayalam, Tamil and Hindi. One day, while returning from a movie theatre, first day first show of the Bollywood blockbuster Sholay, Deepu was caught off guard. He still vividly remembers the smacking he had got from his dad. The 2 years of Deepu's adolescence went off fast, with an occasional fun indoors and adventures outside, and of course, lots of movies. Ever since he joined college, the practice of spending summer vacations in his grandma's home had come to an halt, unless for any functions or other reasons. At times, his family plans for a short trip to his native place, but Deepu invariably tries to skip out. Unlike the previous years, the advent of this monsoon had a great significance and many reasons to remember. By any means, Deepu wanted to join the prestigious institute of the state, Maharaja's College in Ernakulam. It was one of the oldest colleges and first co-education college and had a strength of nearly 3,000 students. The ratio between boys and girls were almost equal. At that point of time, that was Deepu's ultimate aim, so he started applying for admission irrespective of any degree courses. Actually, Deepu wanted to take up English literature as his major, but the seats were limited, so he couldn't get through upfront. Based on his friend's advice, he opted for philosophy and psychology, just to get an entry into college, and the idea was to change after a couple of months' time. But destiny had some other plans. Therefore, it so happened that more than the course or subject, he fell in love with the college, the campus, the corridors, its century-old history, the giant trees, and of course, the gleeful atmosphere created by the boys and girls, everything in tandem to his age and aspirations. A new experience to an adolescent mind which was resonating to the season and atmosphere. The cherry on the top was unlimited freedom. Inside the campus, everyone had a feel of a free bird. All together, they all felt that they have entered a new horizon. Subsequently, Deepu started getting involved in college politics, which was a remarkable feature of Maharaja's College. Since a century, the college has produced maximum politicians, and secondly, a lot of film actors, actresses, and directors of Malayalam cinema. Igni, Venki, Shiva, Ashok, and Abraham were his close friends and comrades as well. Except for Igni, all the three were tall, well-built, and fighting fit. Deepu was also fit and fine, but Igni was thin and feeble, so never took part in actions. The KSU, the Kerala Students' Union, and SFI, the Students' Federation of India, were the two prominent parties in the campus. Both were the student arms of the Congress and Communist parties, respectively. Influenced by his friends, Deepu opted for the SFI, which was controlled by the Communist Party of Marxists. Likewise, many of his friends and new entrants to Maharaja's College joined student politics and were active inside the campus. Like many, it was an alien world to Deepu. However, day by day he became more and more involved into politics, which was quite thrilling and adventurous, matching his basic instincts. But in the bargain, Deepu's aim to take up literature was sidelined and taken a back seat due to his friends and companions, or rather comrades. Besides, he enjoyed learning about the great Greek philosophers, Socrates, Aristotle, Plato, and he was highly influenced about the teachings of Swami Vivekananda, Adi Shankara, etc. Besides the theories of Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, and psychologists like Carl Jung, Bertrand Russell, Immanuel Kant, etc. Deepu vividly remembers his first day lecture by his professor, Mrs. Grace Chandy. She was narrating an incident about Dr. Radhakrishnan, our ex-president, to show the value and the respect given to a philosopher. When Dr. Radhakrishnan became the President of India, few of the Western newspapers had these headlines: Plato's greatest theory has come true in India. Dr. Radhakrishnan takes over the highest office of his country as the President of India. Now let's see what is the greatest theory of Plato. Plato, in his book, The Republic, which is considered as one of the greatest contribution to world politics, has said in a context that either kings should become philosophers or philosophers should become kings to maintain peace and harmony in this universe. This statement speaks volumes about the greatness of a philosopher. Besides, the highest degree given to anyone in any discipline is a PhD, Doctorate in Philosophy. Hence, that lecture by the professor had a profound impact on the students. They all had a feel that they also are at par with any other degree, or rather, more in gaining respect in the society. After a couple of months' time, Deepu started realizing that he had one more strange reason to stay back in that class. Whether it was love at first sight or infatuation, he was unaware. But surely, he had an attraction towards one of his classmates, Samyukta Verma, who hails from an aristocratic family in North Kerala. She was born and brought up in Cochin city. Undoubtedly, she was one of the college beauties. Her fair complexion, curly hair, and attractive features, especially the sparkle in her eyes, would never miss one's gaze. For sure, and Deepu was no exception. Here again, destiny had played a role. Deepu to opt for this particular college, this particular course, and this charming girl happens to be his classmate. Everything looked predestined. It reminds me the writing of the famous author Paulo Coelho, that the entire universe conspired to help me to find you. However, Deepu was not sure whether Samyukta had the same feelings towards him because she used to mix up with all the boys and girls in the same way. But Deepu had the peculiar feeling of those who are entangled in love, his thoughts consumed by her every single word, every gesture, and every smile. In her presence, Deepu felt that time came to a standstill and everything else faded away, leaving only her unbridled affection. As Shakespeare has rightly put it in his book Romeo and Juliet, love is heavy and light, bright and dark, hot and cold, sick and healthy, asleep and awake. It's everything except what it is. Deepu had entered the spring season of his life, and the seeds of romance had already been sowed in his mind's sand, and it's time to sprout. Subsequently, he started enjoying the nature's beauty, like the green meadows, hillocks, mountains, morning mist, dewdrops, blooming flowers, etc. Unlike in the past, he was more inclined towards romantic movies and stories. All of a sudden, one day, a great exciting thing was announced. Their department had decided to go for a picnic to a hill station known as Munnar. Munnar is situated in the Western Ghats, almost 1500 meters above sea level, surrounded by tea plantations established in the 19th century. In fact, it was a favorite spot for the Britishers during their rule. All the students were so thrilled and excited, and of course, Deepu's excitement had no limits. Imagining a trip with his friends, and indeed, he was looking forward to his most loved companion, Samyukta. Besides, it was an opportunity for Deepu to confirm whether she had the same feelings towards him. Since it was a one-day's trip, they all boarded the bus just after the sunrise. In the beginning, there was a separation between the boys and girls, and the lecturers were sitting in the first row. But after a while, no one knew what transpired among the students. All students looked around and exchanged their seats with their close companions. And to everyone's surprise, Sam, as she was fondly called by her buddies, boldly came and sat next to Deepu. Deepu couldn't believe it. He had to pinch himself to realize the reality. He thought that Goddess Venus has been too kind to him. Obviously, the entire bus was in high spirits, and of course, the loud music and chatting and munching of all created a festive mood. However, Deepu and Sam were in a different world. Both were silent for a while and wondered who will break the ice. Finally, Deepu took the step and couldn't resist complimenting her. "Hey Sam, you look stunning in this red attire." Blushingly, she responded, "You too look dashing." Both of them were quite fashion conscious. Deepu was in his bell-bottom trousers, the trend of the 70s, and a black t-shirt. Sam was wearing a long skirt and a matching top. The following hours they were in a long chat which helped to know more about each other, mainly their school life, their family background, etc. After a few hours, they reached the destination. The location was amazing. It looked as if everything has been arranged for Deepu and Sam. The main attraction was the tea estates, a dam, waterfalls, green pastures, mountains, rivers. The incandescent beauty of the location created a romantic ambience. However, now they all were mixed and the entire team enjoyed to the maximum, the teachers as well. Amidst everyone, Sam called, "Hey Deepu, why can't we just walk around?" Deepu was really taken aback. He never expected that she could be that bold and fast. Beauty, brains, and boldness. Indeed, a rare combination for a dame of those days. Can be compared with Jennifer Parker, the protagonist in a novel of Sidney Sheldon, The Rage of Angels. Deepu got up and walked shyly towards her, and they both took a stroll and sat in the riverbank. Deepu couldn't believe the events that was happening around him since morning. Everything was spontaneous, as if controlled by some divine force. It looked just like a romantic pair in a typical movie, sitting near the riverbank and watching the sublime flow in the backdrop of mighty mountains, resonating with the feelings they both experienced. But their precious moments didn't last for long. It was stolen by a bunch of their friends who interrupted their solitude, and they all had to leave for another location. Further, they all were together and had a hilarious time till the sunset, and it was time to backpack and bid farewell to the lovely location. But their return journey was not exciting as expected, because the teachers had empowered with regards to the sitting arrangements. The boys and girls were seated separately. However, all of them had carried cherished memories forever. The following week was also too exciting, a new experience altogether. The college elections date was announced and the campaigning started. Being a government college, election campaigning was done in full-fledged, somewhat similar to state elections. All the local leaders of the Congress and the Communist parties were present to accelerate the campaigning by introducing their respective candidates, followed by stage shows and speeches. During those days, Deepu and Sam didn't have anything special. They were like normal classmates or just good friends. However, they both were waiting for an appropriate moment to be in solitude. Gradually, most of the students in the college realized that both of their relations were not like classmates or friends, but something beyond. The eve of elections witnessed a violent clash between the KSU and SFI students. This was nothing new in Maharaja's College. Every year it starts during elections. Later on it is carried forward at least couple of times in a year. For the first time ever, Deepu and all new students were witnessing such violent clashes. Students of both the parties armed with cycle chains, iron rods, hockey sticks, etc., openly challenged by shouting slogans. Suddenly, you could hear the announcement by the principal requesting students to stop violence and to leave the college campus, and he declares an off for the day. The principal, Dr. K.K. Matthew, was a charismatic person and an efficient administrator who had done his master's degree and PhD from London University. Deepu, Sam, and all their friends were so surprised to hear an announcement for such a reason. But very soon, they realized it was a regular affair in Maharaja's college because violent clashes between these two groups were quite frequent. Moreover, Deepu was excited to see his close buddies, Venki, Abraham, and Shiva leading the gang. Since Deepu was influenced to action and adventure, he wished to be a part of the gang in the future. The following days of the week went off with anxiety and suspense, quite palpitating. Many of the students didn't have any clue of the situation. A pall of gloom was lingering the campus. Most of the newly joined girls remained at home, and Sam was no exception. Unlike other newcomers, Deepu was quite excited to experience such an atmosphere because he loved thrills and adventure. He was disappointed only for one reason, that he couldn't spend much time with Sam. When Deepu saw her after a week, he was overjoyed and his feelings were indescribable. Even though they were standing a feet apart, it seemed like an insurmountable distance. Anyways, the pain of parting is nothing to the joy of meeting again. Next week was also quite exciting because the election results were announced. SFI came into power and their jubilant candidates, along with their friends and comrades, celebrated their success by rallies in and around the college, followed by the felicitation by the local party leaders and by the college management. It was altogether a festive mood. The elected Students' Union chairman, Balachandran, was an excellent orator. His style of delivering speeches were compared to the famous Roman leader Mark Antony, whose speech addressing the violent Roman public after the assassination of Julius Caesar is considered to be one of the greatest speeches in history. Days became weeks and weeks into months, and the year was about to end, filled with lots of fun, mischief, love, and action at times. Ever since the picnic, Deepu and Sam didn't get an opportunity to spend time at their liberty. Normally, during the final term, the college day is being celebrated and all were looking forward to the 103rd anniversary. Since many years, the college day in Maharaja's College is famous and celebrated in a grand way. Apart from students, lecturers, principal, local leaders, and some celebrities are also invited. Deepu and Sam were anxiously waiting for the occasion so that they both could spend some quality time together. As expected, the college day celebrations started by the welcome speech delivered by the Students' Union Chairman Balachandran, followed by the address of the principal, Dr. K. Matthew. The state chief minister was the chief guest, who was indeed an ex-student of this college, so he had many memories to share regarding his course, companions, campus politics, etc. However, the students were more eager to see and spend their moments with a celebrity, a leading star of Malayalam movies. Subsequently, the cultural programs started and the air was filled with a sense of joy and celebration, followed by dance, drama, mimicry, musical orchestra, etc. As the function was in progress, Deepu and Sam were looking for a gap to escape from the crowd without anyone's attention. After a while, they both got up unnoticed and walked out to a secluded corner of the campus. Since they were meeting after a long gap, her blushing face made Deepu's heart warm. Succumbing to the enchanting moment, Deepu gently grasped her hand with a mischievous twinkle in his eyes. She responded with her playful wink and they both settled down to share their thoughts. They both were wondering whether to keep their relationship private or make it public. However, they decided to keep it under wraps till the right time. After a couple of hours, Sam wanted to get back silently to the auditorium, but Deepu took her hand and gently squeezed it, signaling his intention to stay back for some time. But Sam resisted and said, No, it's high time, let's call it a day, and rushed off. The following months didn't have anything remarkable. However, Deepu and Sam's relations were mounting up day by day. Their relationship had defied expectations. It was not like any other lovers or romantic couples. Quite unusual. They have never even exchanged the 3 words, I love you, or never been to date. Yet, their relation remained strong. The eve of their first year exams came as an uninvited guest, and it was mandatory to face it. Like many of the boys, Deepu had mugged up in the last moments and attempted the exams. Sam, like many of the girls, were quite serious about exams. The exams got over in a week, and finally, that Friday was the day to bid farewell to friends for summer vacations. All the friends exchanged their normal gestures and were leaving the campus. However, Deepu had a special plan to spend some quality time with Sam. He had decided to take her for a treat so that they both can spend some private moments. They both headed towards an ice cream parlor opened quite recently near to their college. The ambience and murals in the walls created a perfect atmosphere for any romantic couple. Obviously, they both were on cloud 9. Deepu opted for vanilla flavor and Sam went for strawberry. It was so exciting for both because it was a first of its kind experience for both. However, both were hastily finishing the ice cream so that they could indulge in a pleasant conversation. Her blushing face was beyond imagination, and those whimsical moments were translated into cherished memories. The next academic year started with heavy monsoon. Unlike the previous year, the beginning was not so vibrant as expected. It was drizzling and the atmosphere was quite gloomy. However, the petrichor was quite intoxicating. Like everyone, Deepu was also so excited to come back after a break of 2 months. From the college gate itself, students exchanged greetings each other and walked to their respective classes. Because being the first day, no one wants to bunk classes. As Deepu reached his class, instantly his eyes was wandering to meet his girlfriend Sam. But Sam didn't turn up for the day. Deepu's mind was so restless. He inquired about her to other friends and classmates, but no one had a clue about her. Finally, he pacified himself. Oh, she might have got stuck in her native village, so don't you worry. Shall meet tomorrow for sure. The following night, Deepu couldn't sleep as usual because he was totally engrossed in the thoughts of Sam. After being awake for long, he succumbed to slumber. Next day morning, Deepu got up quite enthusiastic and rushed to the washroom for a shower. As the water cascaded on him, he found himself lost in the thoughts of Sam and imagined the feel and excitement of his awaited rendezvous. Deepu didn't have the patience to have his breakfast. He just gulped a cup of milk and rushed to his college. He didn't even notice anyone in the campus, just dashed to his classroom, but he was totally disheartened. He exclaimed, "Hey, even today she hasn't come. Where this dame disappeared?" Neither his nor her friends knew about her absence. It was a great suspense. Unlike today, Those days, there were no cell phones or anyone exchanged their landline numbers or addresses either. Days became weeks and weeks into months, but no clue of Sam. Here again, destiny had shown its negative attitude. For no reason or rhyme, Sam totally vanished in thin air, and no one had any clue of her. Not only the classroom, the entire college was conspicuous in her absence. Deepu was aimlessly wandering in the campus, sitting on benches, lost in thought and gazing at his surroundings. He was feeling loneliness and unease in the following days, longing for his companion's return. During his childhood, how destiny got him separated from his parents and loved ones. Almost the same episode has been repeated in his life. Maybe the impact on him should be less because he had already experienced such a situation, and this time he is grown up as well. After a couple of months' time, Deepu came to know from reliable sources that Sam, along with her parents, had migrated to Canada. Hence, she had to discontinue her studies in Maharaja's College abruptly. Since all these developments happened during the summer vacation, she didn't have any means or rather an opportunity to communicate this to anyone. It was quite evident that he was responsible for the whole episode. I mean, destiny. Deepu's relation or the love affair with Sam was like the sight of a crescent moon, which is of incandescent beauty, and after a brief time it disappears forever, like an epiphany. Very similar to the love story of a famous Tamil movie, Moondram Pirai, released during the 80s, starring Kamal Hassan and Sridevi. It took months for Deepu to recover from this situation, but unlike many others, Deepu didn't dwell on it for long. He pacified his mind and started focusing on campus politics. He became an active comrade of SFI and started spending his maximum time with his friends, Venki, Shiva, and Abraham. Thereafter, Deepu never used to look upon girls, or rather, he developed a sort of arrogance towards the opposite sex, except for his mother and sister. The following week, there was tension in the college because a private bus employee had assaulted a student and the students were furious. Deepu, along with few comrades, chased the bus and seized it and brought it to the college campus, and it was under the students' control. This led to a big hue and cry, and even the media covered the incident. Subsequently, the principal, the commissioner of police, the bus owner, and the students' union chairman had a meeting, and later on, the bus was released on accepting the terms of the students. After this incident, Deepu became one of the prominent heroes in the campus. Gradually, in the course of time, Sam started fading away from Deepu's mind. He hardly remembers her, except while watching some romantic scenes in movies. Like his friends, he was too busy in college union activities. After a couple of months' time, this year's election campaigning started for college union. As usual, the KSU and SFI conducted rallies inside the campus to show their strengths. As expected, the eve of elections witnessed a violent clash between the two parties. This time, Deepu also joined his friends Venki, Shiva, and Abraham armed with an iron rod. In fact, he was so thrilled to be a part of the violent clash. Unlike the past, this time it was like hell broke loose. Apart from students, outsiders and even some professional goons had got involved in the clash. However, the girls were terrified, so no one came out from the classrooms except for a few who were eager to see the action. From those days, the college campus has become a breeding ground of many of the state political leaders. Student unions, which were supposed to be a corrective force in the field of education, unfortunately, had become tools in the hands of politicians. Ever since, it is going from bad to worse, and the major reason for such situations are attributed to the participation of external political parties in college union elections. After a very long time, Deepu, along with his mother, brother, and sister, had been to a movie. In fact, they never expected Deepu to join them. Gradually, Deepu was back to normal after the separation of his dear companion, Sam. As days and months passed by, from June to September, then October to December, and further to March, one more academic year passed away so swiftly. Finally, Deepu was in his final year of graduation. That year too was nothing exceptional. The same events of Maharaja's College was repeated: union elections, violent clashes, annual day celebrations, and then comes the final year exams.